Story 1. Do whatever I want with infinite power. Get bored of infinite power. Become a human in a chaotic world. Live a life. Die and realize I was God the whole time. Repeat for infinity. Story 2. I stop being myself as omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniscience diffuse all limited perceptions and abilities that define casual notice into an amorphous being of mere power. Story 3. I help individuals achieve optimal health for their age. I focus on promoting wellness without encouraging complacency. Story 4. Redistribute wealth. Enhance the human experience by improving qualities such as regenerative abilities and addressing issues like sleep disturbances. Story 5. Make myself known. Stop all the killing in my name. Find a replacement for parasitic wasps. Transform churches into all-expenses-paid fun places for children with terminal illnesses. Ensure that anyone who is cruel to animals faces immediate consequences. Story 6. I would create a way to dispense lemonade from my finger, allowing me to have it available at all times. Story 7. There are many options available, but I believe what the world really needs is for me to have significant capabilities. Story 8. All those people staring at their mobile phones on the street, expecting pedestrians to have telepathic powers to guess which direction they will zigzag next. I would make waste magically cling to the soles of their shoes and get seagulls to mess in their hair. Story 9. First, I will remove sickness and then create dimensions in the world where everyone will be able to breathe anywhere, whether in space or underwater. Story 10. Take all hate out of the world. End all pain and emotional suffering. Help everyone get along and create more cute animals. Story 11. Find a person who is disrespectfully speaking about God and grant him my powers, which he inevitably uses for his own greed. Eventually, his life falls apart around him, and he realizes I was right all along. Story 12. Lay dormant and observe everything. There's no use in using powers until one can understand their depth. With unlimited power and endless possibilities, I could simply go back to any point in time where I want to start, so time is not an issue. From there, it greatly depends on the implications of using divine power. Should I interfere in the events of mortals directly? Or would it be better to find specific individuals in the right place and give them a spark of inspiration to shape humanity and push it forward? Would it even be right to do so? Would right matter to me at that point? Would humanity even matter? Probably not. After all, I could just hop through time and try again like reloading an old save in a video game. No consequences, no stakes. None of it truly matters. More than likely, I would just get bored and incarnate as a mortal for a while, live a life and do whatever, then return to being divine. Story 13. What would I do if I were omnipotent? First, I will create a safety copy of humanity as it is right now so I can revert it if I make a serious mistake. Next, I will make humans more durable. It is quite annoying how easy it is to get hurt. I will give them more of an anime treatment. There will be no more overtraining. If you push your muscles to their limit, they will simply grow stronger. No more shin splints or similar issues. Additionally, bones will be harder to break. If you fall down the stairs, you might just get a few bruises and you can laugh it off. Sickness will be much harder to catch. Getting sick just because you accidentally uncovered yourself at night? Not anymore. You will really have to work to become ill, and it will only last a few days instead of lingering for weeks. I will fix allergies and make everyone tolerant of lactose and gluten. If something damages your organs, they will heal naturally. I am not fixing death. If you severely harm yourself, you die. However, as long as you survive, every single person will make a full recovery in due time. I will remove sexually transmitted diseases entirely. Pregnancies will be safe, and sexual organs will become controllable, allowing individuals to choose whether they want to conceive or produce fertile sperm. I will also create an easy-to-grow tree that can thrive all over the world. If you eat its fruit, you will change gender overnight without any complications arising from it. Story 14. Since I am lazy, I would eliminate all of you and start over in another cozy solar system. It would be much easier to address all the issues my predecessor created individually. Perhaps I will create an arc so you can feel a little better about yourselves in the end. Story 15. Decent people cannot gain superpowers without being labeled a villain or a terrorist in the modern age, unless their actions are truly untraceable. I would remove many individuals creating problems in a very short time. I would develop neural upload technology and ensure it is widely available alongside customizable bodies to meet people's needs. Story 16. Have some fun, and after that, limit my powers psychologically to avoid getting bored. It would be cool to live in a normal world but still be able to do some things. Story 17. 1. Remove transphobes. Remove extremist views. Enable people to stop hurting each other and allow them to live their own lives in their own bodies. Transform specific individuals into a portable restroom. Ban fascism and oligarchy forever. Gran humans capaciftingabilities. Occasionally make it rain pickles on Tuesdays. Story 18. Goodbye, Trump. No terminal illnesses. No starvation. My will to the people is that no one will go hungry. The world will never rise above 90 degrees Fahrenheit unless necessary to sustain life. I honestly don't know what impact capping temperatures at 90 degrees would have, but this is just because I can't stand being hot. Story 19. I am eager to use my power to witness everything that has ever happened in human history. I would observe Mesoamerican and South American cultures at their peak, investigate the truth behind Atlantis, discover what happened to Amelia Earhart, and identify who traveled to the Americas before Columbus. I would keep my findings to myself. Story 20. Ensure that every time someone pours a liquid, some will always be left behind. If they are bold enough to pack it in a bag, some will always leak out. The same applies to laundry, linen, and peeling stickers or wraps. Some will always be left behind. I would then dedicate my time to trolling those who are already suffering, such as people recovering from depression or suicidal thoughts. I might also try to devise more harmful ways to make children in Africa suffer. After all, why change a clearly functioning system? Story 21. Everyone who actively enjoys causing others misery for their own sake is gone. Creators who provoke outrage will have their accounts permanently locked until they understand their mistakes. Advertising companies will be continuously challenged until they prioritize informative content over predatory practices. It would be much easier to live peacefully without those whose only aim is to provoke. Story 22. I would instantly confront all the extreme road ragers in the world, especially those who perform sudden stops. Story 23. We are experiencing significant flooding. There is no warning and no time to prepare. Feels like we are starting over and have a clean slate. Story 24. Honestly, first I would address climate change, cure all diseases, and ensure that everyone has access to clean water and nutritious food. Then I would give myself the ability to teleport because traffic is not ideal. Story 25. No poverty, no diseases, and making communism a viable option that really works so everyone is truly happy. Story 26. Firstly, end denial politics. Secondly, encourage collaboration to address climate change, plastic pollution, and gun violence. Thirdly, create a designated area in the Palestine-Israel region to promote peace and coexistence. Story 27. I feel like everyone mostly agrees with this. Make Pokemon, Pokeballs, and all Pokemon items real. Then I would finally defeat Meowscarada. Story 28. I will remove the concepts of ego and pride. Everyone will be humble from now on. No more wars about gaining territory and recovering past borders, such as the Russian invasion of Ukraine or the current conflict between Pakistan and India, and no more nonsense from political leaders. Story 29. I would not be occupied with insignificant life forms such as humans. Imagine having the power to create an entire universe. Your abilities are vastly greater than we can comprehend. To an actual god, we are nothing but ants. What this god does is far beyond our understanding. It's like showing an ant a roller coaster, taking it for a ride, and expecting it to understand. Story 30. There is such a thing, but it's completely opposite to what you think. He will not join you, you should join him. Story 31. Something inconvenient takes time to notice. It's like everyone's eyesight gradually declines from perfect vision to slightly less than perfect each day. However, once they get glasses, it improves until they address it, eventually adjusting back to perfect vision, much like how earlobes slowly increase in size over time. Story 32. Probably what God did was send a son to walk the earth and promote good teachings, humility, grace, empathy, forgiveness, and love. I would explore ways to make myself more known so that others might expand their horizons and seek to live better in the presence of something greater, not myself but actual God. I would seek to restore ecosystems and natural lands to their former glory, encouraging life to bloom and thrive in places it hasn't for generations. I would look into sustainable solutions to pollution and repair whatever damage has been done to give humanity a fresh start. Above all, I want people to understand each other better, fostering a sense of empathy so that we may know more peace. Story 33. Eliminate all firearms and explosives. Encourage everyone to pursue proper education. Transform the internet into a positive force that uplifts humanity. Encourage people to pause, observe, listen, and empathize with others. Uphold intelligence and compassion as virtues that are valued more than physical strength and triumph. Story 34. Make destruction harder than creation. Raise the intelligence of everyone so that even the least intelligent individuals will be smarter. They will still be considered less intelligent by the new standard. Rename common sense to uncommon sense due to how people struggle to use it. The rest I will use for my own benefit or to help address issues if I am motivated to do so. Story 35. Snap my fingers and eliminate half of all life. A necessary sacrifice. After that, I would go home and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe. Story 36. Everyone hiding behind my name as an excuse for power now faces consequences. Story 37. The world would be much emptier and more peaceful. Then I would do what God probably did originally and leave. I would create a new world, likely repeating the same mistakes continuously. Story 38. End pain, the need to eat, and no more violence. Just begin correcting things. Putting the safety on and letting every soul be at peace with itself and whoever else it wants to be with. Story 39. Eliminate the other gods because they allow us to exist in a seemingly godless world. Story 40. Becoming the very equation that all world leaders must consider first, essentially challenging the United States to use every weapon they possess while I casually reveal my supernatural powers. Of course, it's televised so everyone will see the spectacle. After that, I can present my proposal to them. Human civilization will be under my protection. I will allow growth, but infighting is strictly prohibited. Any country that violates this and is proven to have ill intent will face destruction. The current wars must stop, and all world leaders need to gather with me at the United Nations to discuss war reparations and trials for those who are criminals. Additionally, I want humanity to collaborate so that we can inherit our home system and beyond. Something like that. It is tyrannical, yes, but it is a necessary evil. In any case, that's all I wish to do. Story 41. I would reveal myself and explain that those who do wrong in the name of religion are misguided. They are not destined for paradise as they might believe. Then I would snap my fingers, and all those multimillionaire evangelists would lose everything. The money they conned from people would be returned to those individuals. After that, I will explain that a deity does not require constant prayers and pleas for help. You are more than capable of helping yourself. I presume that with the power of a deity, I would instantly know what everyone has done to reach their current circumstances. I would turn to the wealthiest individuals, rewarding those who achieved their success through hard work and integrity. Those who gained their wealth through morally questionable means would lose it all. Their wealth would be evenly distributed throughout the world. And that's day 1. Story 42. Send cryptic messages to random people in their dreams. Then watch. It would be amusing for a while, or randomly answer prayers and reprimand some politicians. Story 43. Reboot the entire world in a completely new setting, reincarnating everything in the process. Most likely, it will be a fantasy setting with magic and various races. Or perhaps a Pokemon theme. One of the two. Don't worry, I will ensure that the current world has an exciting end-time event, regardless of the direction I choose. Story 44. Oh, that would be too dangerous. The punishment would be swift, and there are many people who need it. By the power of Zeus. Story 45. I don't believe in God, so I feel I have their power already. But let's imagine there was a God, a real one. I would get involved with the project. I would appear in the sky. My children, it is I, the Almighty. Right to the point. Glowing background. The whole presentation. Then I would explain that hell is real, but you only go there if you have been truly reprehensible. No last-minute redemptions either. You must be good for a substantial period, and you must confess any heinous acts you have committed. But no punishment for original sin, that's absurd. On balance, you need to be good. I would tell leaders like Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, and other dictators that they are already condemned. That would frighten them, and the leader of Israel would face judgment too. I would address the situation in Gaza but urge them to calm down and treat their women with respect. I would explain that all religions are misleading and that being good is all that matters. I would add that if anyone tries to create a religion from this moment, they would also face condemnation. I would heal the planet completely. I would get the band Fugazi to reunite for some concerts. I would declare that anyone with over $10 million is destined for hell unless they give it away immediately. No more billionaires. No more ultra-rich individuals. However, being very wealthy is acceptable as long as they are decent. I would cure all diseases. I would tell Disney that they will face consequences if they produce any more poor sequels to franchises like Predator or Alien. I would tell Fox the same regarding the Terminator series. I would put an end to that nonsense. A blend of the profound and the petty. Story 46. Most importantly, I would use my powers to create positive change. I probably wouldn't just erase humanity's issues, as we grow through them and they are important. However, I would certainly help some individuals gain insights that lead to personal epiphanies. The one thing I would completely eliminate from existence, even if humanity could potentially solve it on their own, is cancer. It is incredibly difficult to believe in a higher power in the face of such suffering. Story 47. I don't care what they do for the environment. We'll find a different solution to avoid the problem. However, I am getting rid of all the aggressive flying insects with stingers. If you leave it alone, it will leave you alone. Not in my experience, because every time I have been stung, it was while trying to avoid them. Bees, wasps, and yellow jackets are all aggressive flying insects with stingers that need to go. We will find a replacement that is not so troublesome. Story 48. End capitalism and create a system where resources are allocated based on need, not on the most profit gained. Story 49. Mate with human females and create demigods. Then compel them to prove themselves to atone for my misdeeds. Story 50. I envision a world without religion. I propose that I could demonstrate that I am a god and that there is no Allah, Jesus, or similar figures. However, I want each of you to strive to be the best version of yourselves by using logic and reason. I encourage you to seek the truth about this universe and work towards making it better and more beautiful. I want you to study science and engineering, to appreciate nature and diversity, and to foster a symbiotic relationship with all living organisms. I invite you to explore the world with this knowledge, to search for new dead planets, or to study life on other planets. I want you to map the universe and gather all available information. When this is accomplished, I will adjust the settings and create a new stage for everyone to start anew. Those who contribute even slightly will enter a state of timelessness, given a second chance in a new universe once this is completed, with additional opportunities for growth. Story 51. Make a list of the biggest problem makers among humanity. Check it twice. Invite them all to a fire festival. Story 52. Make it so I never lose it and eliminate all possible competition. Make myself and anyone I wish immortal. Immediately end all world issues. Hunger, politics, war, and energy concerns. Take a few months to have fun and do whatever I feel like. Instantly create a Fire Emblem 4 remake. Bend the laws of physics and bring another planet close by without affecting Earth negatively in any way. Create life, put a fast-forward button on it, make Earth invisible to it, and watch its development in comparison to Earth. Have Earth observe but be unable to interfere in any possible way for a while. Give dogs the power of speech. Explore the universe and discover what exists out there, what is inside a black hole, what lies at the edge of the universe, and what happens when you reach the boundaries of the expanding universe and move faster than it is expanding. Destroy mosquitoes from the face of the Earth. Make mosquitoes the only intelligent species on that second planet in development, growing to about 6 feet tall. Make every single Marvel Cinematic Universe actor never age again, so they can portray those characters for eternity. Story 53. You cannot gain God's powers without being God, and you cannot be God unless you always were. My mind struggles to understand how to reach a point where I can obtain those powers or what that would even look like. Here's my best effort. I would probably identify the best pizza in the world or create it. Story 54. If I were all-knowing and all-powerful, then I would have no desires as I would have everything I could possibly want. There would be no desire to discover, as I would know everything. There would be no desire to accomplish anything because everything would be infinitely easy, making it pointless to do. I would do nothing, feel nothing, experience no joy or hate for all eternity. Story 55. Use my powers to judge every human. If I determine them to be part of the problem and not worth saving, I will confine them to a flesh prison. Breaking a set of rules will not result in confinement. Instead, it is simply living a life that leads to enough suffering and negative actions from others, making redemption impossible. The flesh prison is a house-sized sack made of human skin that is superpositioned to exist in multiple locations on the planet simultaneously. There is one in every major city center. If you do not see it at least once every 5 years, one day you will wake up and see it on the horizon, gradually approaching you each day. From a distance, you can hear the cries of its prisoners, all trying to escape. No one can see inside, but the surface moves with the contents within. Just as in life, their selfishness dictates their actions. However, the closer you get, the more the mass of bodies takes the form of a single person. Perhaps it is someone you knew or just the right kind of person you need to see in that moment. Once the sack assumes the shape of a single individual, that person will begin to confess all the mistakes and actions that led them to confinement. I believe this would be an effective way to encourage honesty and goodness. There would be no punishment for those who remain. It serves as a reminder of the negativity in the world and why they should strive to improve. Once a person inspires enough good to offset their negative actions, they are released. I would ensure to announce myself to humanity to clearly explain the purpose of the prison and emphasize that it is their goal to empty it through their actions. I would also need to issue a statement that prevents organized religion from distorting the narrative. Additionally, any attack on another human in the name of any deity, including myself, would be considered a serious offense. Story 56. I will make the most delicious sandwich ever, then hide it in a secret location in the world and watch everyone go crazy trying to find it. What? I like sandwiches. Story 57. If I had the power of God, I do not think I would jump straight to fixing everything. I would start by trying to understand why things are broken in the first place, why we hurt each other, why we chase things that do not actually fulfill us. I would want to feel that from the inside out, not as some being looking down, but as a man walking through it. I would remove the blindfolds we all wear. Let people see the truth about themselves and each other, the beauty, the wounds, the worth. I would erase the fear that keeps us from loving deeply or forgiving fully. I would not just snap my fingers and make the world perfect. I would slow time, soften hearts, and plant questions in people's minds. Real change does not come from force. It comes from awareness. Eventually, I think I would want to forget I ever had any power at all. I would live a life where I struggle, where I love, where I fail and rise, cry, and laugh. Because what is divinity without the human experience? Maybe the real power is not in being all-powerful, but in choosing to be small and still finding meaning in it. And maybe I have already done this. Maybe I am doing it now again and again. Story 58. I would focus my attention on eradicating cancer, bringing my wife back, and possibly making an appearance every time a college football player thanked me for helping them score a touchdown. Do you think I have time for that? People are dying. Story 59. Have a human experience. Think it's real. When you die, you wake up on the other side laughing. Playing a game of hide and seek is a joke on ourselves. Story 60. Politely ask Noah to build me an ark with all the pets and send me off to a peaceful island, which I will create and start a little life. Just me and my many animals. Story 61. Change people's cold and manipulative hearts. Heal the world. Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. Story 62. Maybe I should try to win a few million at the casino first. Otherwise, I am not wise or principled enough for that. Story 63. I would create two separate places. One would be miserable and filled with agony, while the other would be a paradise where no one lacks anything. I would grant everyone eternal life and send the evil people to the miserable place and the others to paradise. I would identify the evil individuals based on their selfishness, greed, and how they used their power to hurt others for their own gain. The others would be determined by their selflessness and how they improved the lives of others by giving of themselves, even in small ways. Once that was complete, I would resurrect the dead and assign them to the same places. Story 64. Remove every offender from this planet and ensure they face eternal punishment for their actions. Story 65. Not be unkind. Actually be all merciful and prevent disasters like tsunamis that kill 250,000 people or childhood cancer or all the other horrible things in our world. I am God, so it is irrelevant what I have, as I can will anything into existence or make anything happen. Do the things the people actually believe I am. Story 66. Make people healthy. Then just relax and do nothing. Maybe send a meteor to target powerful leaders and billionaires. Story 67. Immediately wipe humanity clean. I wouldn't even bat an eyelash. Wipe humanity clean and create a better version of life, because this is certainly not what life is for everyone. Story 68. I assume you mean the Abrahamic God. To start, is he still around? I believe the Bible states that if you gain his powers, he will fight you to the death. He is a jealous God or something like that. Story 69. Create 10 copies of the universe so I can enjoy 5 of them and still have some backups. Story 70. I would remove from all humans the ability to believe in anything supernatural or religious. They would understand it as something people used to do in a historical sense. Story 71. Let me explain. I find this a fascinating question because I cannot find an easy answer. I love humanity. It is my priority, or it would be if I had a bigger influence. We are tribal and care for our group the most, I think. The more I think about what I would do, the fewer things I would actually accomplish. I want to be a part of humanity to avoid feeling alone, but I also want to fix things. However, giving humanity what they want may make them complacent and passive, like a child who will not move out of the garage. Humanity needs to fight for a better future. The struggle is part of what it means to be human. The freedom to create your own future. Who am I to decide what our utopia looks like? Story 72. Rapture. Give the earth to the devils that want it. Take everyone else to Valhalla. Go on a dinner date with Jesus. Things I would not bother with. This universe and its inhabitants. Story 73. That depends entirely on what the power of God means. General omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. Tweak reality, making the most outlandish dreams of science fiction and fantasy a reality. Ring worlds, ecumenopolises, readily available space travel, Dyson spheres, neurophysics, and more. Check. Dragons, magic, elves, dwarves, liches, and more. Check. The technology or magic to cure any disease or injury, or to defeat itself. Check. I envision humanity spreading across the universe, into other universes, alongside other sentient races, both mundane and fantastic. I wouldn't eliminate all hardships, The joys of life are all the sweeter for the pangs of life, but poverty and unnecessary cruelty due to the fickle whims of fate would be eliminated. Story 74. Make people feel the fear, pain, suffering, and all the negative emotions and sensations that the animals they consume experience when they are slaughtered. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.